SIF Philomen Raj, MSc, MPhil PhD, retired head Department of Physics, Madras Christian College, Tambaram, Chennai. He is presently serving as a guest lecturer in Loyola College, Nungambakkam, Chennai. He has a teaching experience of 35 years in Madras Christian College for UG and PG students. His field of research is nuclear physics and he has presented about 30 papers in symposia organized by Baba Atomic Research Center, Mumbai. He has guided 50 MPhil students and about 100 MSc students in their projects. He has authored practical physics books for MSc and BSc courses. He is presently engaged in writing a book on nuclear physics for Printers Hall, India.
Welcome to UGC lecture series in physics. So we shall continue with the nuclear and particle physics. Today we will be discussing about types of detectors for detecting alpha, beta, gamma, etc. So we will just go into detail. So the contents will be detectors of nuclear radiation. What are the types of detectors available? And we will just start with one detector, namely ionization chamber. Later on we will discuss about other types of detectors. So when you talk about detector, we should first know how it will interact. Alpha particle is a charged particle, beta is a charged particle, so it has to detect a charge. Photon is not charged, is chargeless. So that detector should be different, it is not a charge detector. Therefore, we first need to know what are the types of interaction. When a particle enters matter, what are the types of interaction? Then accordingly we can design detectors for that particular purpose. So detectors of nuclear radiations. So we have to discuss about interaction of energetic particles with matter. So high energy, all the nuclear radiation will be in MeV. That is why he says energetic particles. Ordinary light is all in EV, electron volt, EV, it will be in EV. And X-ray is going to be in KeV, kilo electron volt, whereas nuclear radiation will be in MeV. So they are all energetic particle, that is why we say interaction of energetic particle. So when it enters our body, what happens, or strikes a metal, what happens, we should first know that, then accordingly we can make detector for the purpose. Interaction of energetic particles with matter, we have to talk about nuclear radiation, and all of them are nuclear radiation like alpha, beta, gamma, all of them are nuclear radiation. So they can be charged particles, like electron is a charged particle, negative charge. Then similarly we have a proton is a positive charge, alpha particle, all of them are charged particles. So we require one type of detector for this purpose. And we have got electromagnetic radiation also, like X-ray and gamma ray. X-ray, as we said, it will be having energy in KeV, gamma ray will be in MeV. So we need to have some detector for this, because they are not charged, but they have got high energy, so we should have a different type of detector for that. Then we have neutral particle like neutron. Neutron is a chargeless particle, it is not a photon, it is a chargeless and it has got mass. We need a different technique for detecting this, therefore just go one by one. So when you say heavy charged particle, like alpha is a heavy charged particle. So when they enter matter, heavy particles enter matter, they will collide with electron. So the nuclear reaction is not possible with low energy. So if you have a energetic heavy charged particle like alpha, they will enter, they will collide with electrons, and it will not enter the nucleus. Say when a particle is entering, when a charged alpha particle is entering, maybe entering some material, maybe you take a copper, alpha particle is bombarding copper. Now it may not touch the nucleus, because the nucleus is very small, 10 power minus 15 meter, and they are well separated. Between them, between two nuclei, we have electrons. Electron is occupying large space. Therefore, when the particle enters, alpha particle enters a material, you may think the material is opaque, solid and opaque. but the alpha particle can just escape out also. It will only interact with the electron and it can escape out. Sometimes it may hit a nucleus. It will, because they are all nucleus all well separated and electron cloud is maximum. So, they can enter the electron cloud and come out, or there is a chance it may hit. Even if it hits with, if it is a low energy, a nuclear reaction is not possible. If it is a large energy, then it will break up the nucleus all that. Therefore, nuclear reaction not possible with low energy. If it is high energy, then we will be able to detect that. Interaction of electron with matter. Suppose you are taking some copper plate. Electron is entering or striking the plate. So, what are the possibilities? Now, electron, if it is, because it is having small mass, velocity will be large, very large velocity will be there, because for a given energy, see this equation we have written, E equal to half mv squared. So, for a given energy, when the mass is small, velocity will be large, Therefore, for a given energy, electron has got large velocity because it has got small mass, and because of the large velocity, relativistic correction will come into play. So, the velocity, when it is increasing, the mass will also increase. Therefore, that is called relativistic correction, a variation of mass with velocity. So, that relativistic correction has to be included if it is electron. For heavy charged particles, V is small for the same reason. So, we got energy equal to half mv squared. When the particle is heavy, velocity is small, and therefore, relativistic correction is not required. For a heavy particle, relativistic correction is not required. Therefore, if you are deciding designing a detector, we need to see if it is a heavy particle, no need for relativistic correction. If it is electron, we need to have relativistic correction. Now, we will just compare. We have said about heavy particle and electron, both are charged. Heavy particle, we are talking about alpha particle, which is positively charged, or think about electron, it is a charged particle with a negative charge. Now, when they are bombarding a material, any matter, what are the comparison? We make a comparison for heavy and electron. Here for heavy particle, V is small, therefore, velocity will be small, because for a given energy E equal to half mv squared, mass is larger, velocity is small. Here V will be large, because E equal to half mv squared, mass is smaller, velocity will be large. Therefore, here for heavy particle, no relativistic correction, because the velocity is small, there is no relativistic correction. Here for electron, relativistic correction is required. And we have, if it is a heavy particle, in a single collision, it will lose small fraction of energy, because it is a heavy particle and it is bombarding, it will lose only a small fraction of energy, because it is like a heavy vehicle. It will go, suppose it dashes a wall, it will the velocity will reduce only to a small extent. Suppose we are going in a two-wheeler and then striking the wall, then it will stop, the two-wheeler will stop. Therefore, because it is heavy, in a single collision, it lose only a small fraction of energy, it will not lose all the energy. Whereas, if you take electron, because the mass is small, in a single collision loses large fraction of energy, or it may even stop also, large fraction of energy. They move in almost straight line. So, if we take heavy particle, when they enter the matter, maybe a metal sheet, because it is large heavy particle, it will almost go in straight line, it will penetrate and go in straight line. Whereas, if you take electron, so they move in almost straight line. If you take electron, it will get scattered, because once it enters the matter, in that matter you will have electrons everywhere. So, they will get repelled, Coulomb repulsion. So, they will get scattered. So, we will get large angle deflection. So, this is almost straight line, here it will be large angle deflection. Therefore, energy here, the energy loss is by ionization. it will ionize. Maybe when it goes through air will get ionized. Here energy lost by radiation. When the electron is moving, if it is moving, because it is moving at large velocity, it will give electromagnetic radiation. See, how do you get electromagnetic radiation? Suppose you have an antenna. In the antenna, electron is moving up and down. When it is moving fast, maybe at radio frequency, we will get radio frequency radiation. If it is moving up and down with the microwave frequency, we will get microwave radiation. Therefore, electron is able to move fast because of the smaller mass. So, here you get radiation. Alpha has discrete energy. See, when you take uranium, it will emit alpha particle. The alpha particle, all the alpha particles which come out will have same energy. For example, if it is 4 MeV, all of them will be coming with 4 MeV energy. That is called discrete energy. Beta has continuous energy. So, for beta, we have already discussed under beta decay, it has got a continuous curve. We know that neutrino hypothesis, all that. Therefore, this beta has continuous energy. So, from a source, we are getting beta, series of beta particles coming out. Some of them will be emitted with maybe 4 MeV, some of them with 2 MeV, 1 MeV, 0 MeV. So, we will get a spectrum continuous, it is not discrete. Therefore, what is the result? Therefore, energy loss is simple. So, we know the energy loss 4 MeV, whatever after collision, we know what is the energy after collision. Here, the energy loss is complex, we won't know which beta is striking, that with larger energy or that with lower energy. So, we do not know, therefore, it will be slightly complex. No exchange phenomenon with the atomic electron. Say, when you say exchange phenomenon, suppose I got think about playing carom board. Suppose I take a striker and I hit the coin, the striker will never come back. The strike, because striker has got a larger mass, so it will strike and the coin will be going it will be pushed away. Whereas, if you take one coin and strike another coin, you just can try that and see. Take a coin, not the striker, take the coin and strike another coin. This coin will stop and the other coin will start moving. That is called exchange phenomena. So, this coin, maybe your black coin is hitting on white coin, the black coin will stop and the white coin will go. Whereas, with a striker, such a phenomenon will not occur. That is why we call as no exchange phenomenon with atomic electron. Here, the incident electron and the atomic electron are identical, like the two coins of carom board, they are identical, and so exchange phenomenon will take place. So, when you are designing a detector, we need to think about all this. So, here as the electron moves inside a material, it is accelerated by the nucleus and retarded by electron repulsion. So, what happened? We have got a material, the electron is moving towards that. So, what is that material consisting of? It has got a positive nucleus and a negative electron. Therefore, this electron that comes here, it will be attracted towards that positive because it enters the cloud and it will be repelled by the electron. Therefore, we will get fluctuation. So, there is fluctuation in velocity and fluctuation of electronic charge. So, what will happen? The material, once it enters the material, it will be moving in a zigzag manner. It will fluctuate and go. Why it fluctuates? It gets attracted by nucleus and repelled by the electron. And not only that, suppose you have got the electron cloud, it is moving in the electron cloud, this electron will repel this direction, this electron will repel in the other direction. Therefore, it has to get repelled everywhere. So, as a fluctuation, it will go. This fluctuation will cause electromagnetic radiation. Like any dipole antenna, when the electron is moving up and down, we get the radiation. Similarly, here this electron is moving, fluctuating and going. So, we will get a radiation. This radiation is called Bremsstrahlung radiation. This due to fluctuation. Now we will just see interaction of a gamma ray with matter. So, as a gamma ray, because it is chargeless, as gamma ray passes through material, the intensity changes. So, the energy will change as I equal to I0 e power minus mu x. So, everywhere in nature we get this exponential form. So, the capacitance also charges up exponentially and then discharges exponentially. Similarly, nuclear decay decays exponential. Similarly, here also when it is passing through a material, the intensity reduces exponentially, and this mu is called absorption coefficient. For a gamma ray detector, we have to think about this. We have to use a material whose absorption coefficient is known. Then we can understand what is the incident energy, what is the outgoing energy, and we will know what is the energy of the particle which has entered. Then we have got other type of interaction also, photoelectric effect. So, this was the photoelectric equation was given by Einstein, for which he was given the Nobel Prize. So, photoelectric effect, when a light photon is a light, when light falls on a material, electron is given out, that is called photoelectric effect. So, when light falling on certain material, it ejects electron. For example, if ultraviolet light is falling on a zinc plate, we get one electron coming out. So, what type of material is that? That material should have electron with small work function, it is called work function, that is the energy required to remove the electron, that must be small. Then this energy must be greater than the energy required to remove, or at least equal. Then it will be able to the electron will be able to come out. So, this is photoelectron emission. Photoelectric effect, as we said, it was this equation was proposed by Einstein, and this is the photoelectric equation. H nu is equal to H nu 0 plus half mv squared. So, this is the energy H nu, incident energy, and this H nu 0 is the energy required to remove the electron, that is called work function. Remove the electron has to be removed from the material, then it comes out with some kinetic energy. So, this is the incident energy, this is the energy required to remove the electron, and this is the kinetic energy of the electron which comes out. So, this H nu 0 is called work function. So, when we are deciding on a material, we have to think about work function must be small, then accordingly we will be able to get for each photon, maybe a gamma ray or any ray, X-ray, for each particle that is falling, one electron will come and you get a pulse or current. There is another phenomenon, Compton scattering or Compton effect it is called. So, when a beam of X-ray or a light of high frequency, see X-ray is also a light of high frequency, is incident on an element of small z like carbon, has got atomic number 6. In that case, the scattered radiation will have, so the light is falling on the material, it will get scattered, reflected. The reflected, suppose this is having one energy, one frequency. What we expect is the reflected should also have same frequency, but the Compton found that it has got two frequency, one same frequency and the other one is lower frequency. So, how do you get the same frequency is understandable. The lower frequency is because of this. So, during scattering, the recoil electron takes energy from the incident photon. So, the photon is incident on the material, this electron will recoil, it will take some energy. Therefore, after reflection when it comes out, it will come with a lower energy, which means lower frequency. So, therefore, energy of incident photon is reduced and also frequency is reduced. And why do you say small z? See, only z is small, recoil is measurable. Suppose I take a large z, large z means large number of electron, then the recoil is not measurable. because they will not recoil easily. Only when the electron is when the number of electron is small, then each one will share the energy. So we will be able to measure that. So recoil is measurable for Z is small. Then we have other type also, pair production. That is one type of interaction. When a photon is falling on a material, electron and positron are produced. Electron and positron, we will be discussing more about this in cosmic radiation also. So photon is converted to electron and positron. So here, for example, gamma ray, if we take gamma ray when it is striking a material, we get E plus and E minus, electron and positron. So here on the left side, gamma is chargeless. Here we get one positive charge and negative charge. Therefore, right hand side also the charges are cancelled. So here this energy of gamma is h nu. And what is the rest mass of electron? mc squared or mec squared. Now the electron and positron both have got same mass. Therefore, this energy must be at least equal to 2 mec squared or greater than that. So when the incident photon is 1.2 MeV, 1.02 MeV, we will get pair production. So suppose I get a pair production from a detector, I get one electron and positron, it means a gamma ray has entered with energy greater than 1.02 MeV. So these are all basics for designing the detector. Similarly, we have pair annihilation also. Electron and positron, they will annihilate and give energy, gamma. The charges will cancel out and we get energy coming out. This one is like suppose I have got a battery with positive and negative terminals. Suppose I put both of them together, then both the charges will go out, the battery will become down, positive, negative both will vanish, and what I get is radiation like gamma ray. So the charges will go and instead I will get energy. Then interaction of neutron with matter, we are discussing about the charged particle and also gamma. Suppose it is a neutron which is entering the matter, what are the changes it can make in the matter? The neutron bombardment causes scattering. So the neutron, once it bombards the target, it may get scattered, scattering one thing. Or compound nucleus formation. What is compound nucleus formation? This neutron will get embedded. Once it gets embedded, it becomes compound nucleus. For example, if we take carbon 12, neutron is bombarded. If it becomes carbon 13, it is called compound nucleus formation. Another possibility is it can cause fission, not in every element. Neutron is entering uranium or thorium, it will cause fission. Then nuclear reaction, a neutron gets bombarded and then it may emit some proton outside. In that case, the nucleus itself changes. So we say that is a nuclear reaction. So these are the possibilities of when a neutron is bombarding a matter. Now we will just briefly discuss detector. We will first start with the ionization chamber. So we just see the figure here. So this is the ionization, radiation is entering. So it is a chamber with the two parallel plates and parallel plates separated by distance, and we get connected to voltage and also ammeter. So there will be, see this top one is positive and negative. Now this is meant for to detect radiation, to measure the number of ions created within a gas medium. So once the ionization radiation enters this medium which has got gas, it will get ionized. Like we get if we take two battery wire, keep it very close, we will get spark. We will get spark because the air there is getting ionized. Similarly, we will be getting ionized and the number of ions are created. So what will happen? That ions positive and negative, the positive will be moving towards negative and negative will move towards positive. Therefore, there will be a current. So whenever there is a radiation entering, there will be a current. So the gas is filled with the two electrodes, that is what we said, just two electrode, and we will be able to measure the number of ions. So gas gets ionized due to the radiation. positive and negative ions reach the electrodes and constitute a current. It will make a current. That ionization current measured using a galvanometer or ammeter. So, the output is proportional to dose of radiation. If the radiation is large, current will also be large. Naturally, electrons will be moving towards the positive and the ions will be moving towards the negative electrode. Now, here the two electrodes, they are separated by a distance. So, they act like a capacitor. High voltage is applied through some resistor R, just that is for current limiting. For limiting the current, the ammeter should not get spoiled. So, depending on the range of the ammeter, we will select the resistor and find out the current. So, the enclosure is filled with air, even air is enough, or any other gas also. We will just take one example. Suppose in the radiation, we are talking about radiation. Suppose 3.5 MeV energy alpha particles enter, 3.5 MeV, million electron volt. The work function for air is 35 eV. What is that work function? See, the energy required to ionize it. So, air molecule, I have to make it positive and negative. So, what is the energy required? It is 35 eV. 35 eV is the energy required to separate an air molecule as positive and negative ion. So, that is called work function. So, when this particle enters, this is the total energy 3.5 into 10 power 6, and the energy required to bring one ion, one pair of ion is 35. So, divided by 35, I will be getting 10 power 5 ions produced. Therefore, one alpha particle entering, it will produce such a large number of ions, and these ions will constitute a current here. The uses for radiation survey. So, we can always have like near the reactor, they will have this installed like a fire extinguisher. This will be there to tell us whether there is any radiation in that area. So, for radiation survey and measuring activity of radioactive sources. So, different sources we can find out what are the energy, because the ions produced will be proportional to that. Now, we have been discussing about the interaction of different charged particles, and for each of them what are the things required. Now, all the particles, because they are coming in energy MeV, when they enter air, they will ionize, or when they enter any gaseous medium, they will be ionizing. If it is so we have discussed interaction of charged particles, and ionization chamber is based on this. That is called ionizing radiation. When it enters, it produces the plus and minus ions. So, we have discussed about the neutral particle like neutron, how it is interacting with matter, and also electromagnetic radiation with matter. In the electromagnetic radiation, in one sentence we have put here, but there we had different photoelectric effect, then pair annihilation, and then Compton effect. All these things come here. So, the different detectors will be based on these things, and we have also discussed the construction and working of ionization chamber. Now, we will have a few questions for the day. So, what is Bremsstrahlung radiation? So, we have already discussed that when the electron is entering a material, it will interact with the electrons of the material. The electron which is entering from outside, it will encounter with the electrons in the material, and they will be fluctuating because of the repulsion. One electron, other electron, they repel, therefore, they fluctuate at a very high, because velocity is also large. This fluctuation will give a radiation very similar to electromagnetic radiation. This is called Bremsstrahlung radiation. And explain photoelectric effect and work function. Photoelectric effect, when a photon falls on a material, you will get an electron, and we said about the work function also. So, we can calculate the minimum energy required for pair production. We can calculate using the mass of the particles involved. So, thank you.